Hello and welcome back to the Hellcase Cup 8. We're going to be going into our second map of today, and it is going to be, of course, Inferno. So the first one was, I wouldn't say dominant for Sprout because it ended up being quite close, but they were definitely the better team. I think it was evident throughout, like the map or the rounds they were able to win in the first half were significantly more dominant. In fact, it had to be a few upset rounds almost in the second half for this to even look relatively close. So I definitely want to see more from Nordavind, but as you mentioned, like in terms of statistics, how they've been playing recently, this looked like a really good map for them.
Yeah, they've been playing it a lot and winning it a lot. So that gives you a rough idea of why we're feeling good about Nordavind into this one. I think especially recently, their results were even better than they have been in the past. So it feels like Inferno's a map that's coming together from Nordavind from what we're seeing stats-wise. And yeah, like I was saying earlier, it's a lot of the time where you get these picks that are really strong. That's the thing that underdog teams often have. They have one or two maps where they can maybe compete. It's across the entire best of three that we need to see more from some of these teams. And if we get to Vertigo, that's why I'll be really interested to see how that goes.
Yeah, that will definitely be one of the more interesting maps that we could have seen, because I feel like especially the lower down you go in Counter-Strike, the weaker a lot of teams' map pools get. So I wonder if this is more that both teams are actually feeling comfortable on the map, or if it's more of a we've banned out the opponent's good maps and we've ended up on a map that is just sort of a middle ground and not particularly good for either of us, which I hope isn't the case, because I think watching teams that aren't very good at Vertigo play Vertigo is one of the most painful things in the universe. It normally just ends up with way too much aggression, but we'll have to wait and see on that note, because for now we have another map to go. Of course, I believe this is the knife round, so deciding what side either team will start on. Of course, we are hoping, but teams are hoping for a CT side start. But yeah, it's one of those maps, especially if you can keep the utility low, keep the finances awkward for the CT side, but you can actually still build up a relatively decent T side.
Yeah, definitely. A pretty even map for the most part, just in terms of averages. It can be team dependent. Some teams can be very good on that T side. Some teams can struggle on the T side, depending on how you end up playing it out. I think that the main thing that is important here on the T side of Inferno is if you can get a one-for-one trade early, you put the CTs in such an awkward spot, just with the way the rotations work, the way they have to try and maybe leave the B site with only one player. It can be very uncomfortable. So that's what we'll be looking at on the Sprout side of things. And into the pistol round we go. It's Sprout starting on that T side with two sets of nades lined up for this pistol.
Yeah, that's a hell of a lot of nades for
Three
Sprout.
sets, sorry.
Yeah.
I missed that completely.
3 smokes, 6 flashbangs. I don't think...
Don't miss the decoys, Tom.
I
Come
almost
on.
wonder... Yeah, I don't care about decoys. I do almost wonder if this is a mistake. Like, you don't normally see anywhere near this much utility going in, but even still, utility doesn't really matter if cromen's just going to go pushing down mid. The problem is he is now surrounded, so I'm very surprised he's still alive, and it doesn't last for long. Harry even uses this a bit of a bait, but he's whiffed his shots, and on only 5 HP, he doesn't stand a chance. If you're shot through a wall with a Glock and you die, well, you had to be low on HP. And somehow, after what seemed like the perfect counter for all this utility, has actually ended with a 2-man advantage for Sprout. NATO also only on 4 HP, so almost a 3-man advantage at this point. And with so many good after-plant positions, a man even still waiting down the bottom of mid, just in case they do try and flank through, this round is done.
Yeah, it always sucks to save on the pistol round because you're basically just saving armor, but I guess it's better than nothing for Nordavind. They're going to play for exit kills as well. Ooh, tenzki not landing shots there. snatchie's able to take him away. And NaToSaphiX is just having a look at his knife. They are going to try and run him down at the end here. NaToSaphiX. Oh, well, he manages to get that kill despite being on 4 health. They try and knife him, which was ambitious, but eventually Denis seals the deal, makes sure that nothing is saved over on the Nordavind side of things. And yeah, it just comes down to shots being landed. We don't really see those nades have to come into play because Sprout just win those early fights. They go from there onto the A-bomb site. Nordavind are going to force up into this second round, though. Plenty of SMGs picked up. Not many nades for them, though. I'll be interested to see how they play this round out with that lack of utility, but the requirement to get up close with the SMGs. Inferno's a map where there's lots of options, though. You can play in the apps with the SMGs, you can play close on banana or just close on the B site. There are positions you can play. It's just going to be difficult to win the round outright, I think.
Well, They're going to be going back to retrieve the bomb.
Oh.
They are looking to try and take banana control. It's a quick rotation at least with the players so close in middle. They could just look to push down behind, but obviously for Nordavind, they don't want to take too many risks. Counter utility being expended, which could set up tenzki quite nicely to get at least into a better position and Harry on the boost spot. Instead, though, it looks like Sprout are just going to wait it out, and that's pretty much all the utility gone. HS has a single flashbang to try and help out his team from CT, and they have now fully gambled, leaving just cromen on the other side of the map. If they go into the B site, this could be a perfect setup for the side of Nordavind. 40 seconds left as they are going to be lining up those smokes, likely to hit onto the coffins and CT as well. A shot from tenzki will start things off onto Denis, however, and I wonder if they're going to start doubting themselves here as they are pushing into every single member of Nordavind, leaving just one on the other side of the map. Still, though, they seem to be making this work. Harry in the corner has given them the man advantage back, but it swings into the favor of Sprout. However, HP is definitely favoring cromen, and snatchie realizes he has to go for the fight, and he won't win it. A great round coming out from Nordavind, a fantastic read from NATO, and it will give them a 1-1 scoreline.
Yeah, that's definitely one way of making sure those SMGs can have a chance to win the round. I thought that they might just try and spread across the map and use those SMGs, but the decision to stack clearly ended up being the correct one. They got the right read on the situation, and it just maximizes the chance of the SMGs actually being able to win the round outright. It's a good call from Nordavind. Even though cromen had to clutch at the end there, he lands some rapid shots with the MP9. And now Sprout have to go for a force buy of their own, which is far from perfect. In fact, they don't have any premium rifles in play, just the one Galil in the hands of Spiidi, as well as a scout for snatchie. No nades either for Sprout, which could be a real concern for them. Even if they want to try and close the distance, it's not going to be easy to do so. And a 4-man A-sided stack this time from Nordavind. They're happy that banana is safe for now. They're happy they've got that control. And again, this looks to be a nice decision for them. Cromen's going to line up the first man. HS close by, pounces on the player at top mid. And Nordavind looking pretty comfortable at this point.
Yeah, real reliance on Harry to defend B all on his own, but I like the deep smoke. It gets him the extra control he needs for this SMG to not only be more viable, but also if they do kill him off, if they get past him, it gives someone else the time to rotate. And actually, NATO's already going to do it now. Understandable, you don't really need a 4-man stack when there's only 3 players on the other side. You already have the positional advantage and the weaponry advantage as well, so chances are they don't need the additional defense. Or maybe they do. faveN has already picked off one man. The push through from HS still nets another. It keeps them at least with the advantage still there, and they were not expecting the flank to come in from banana so quickly. That deep control being so valuable for the squad, and it will be a 3-man save alongside the 2 rounds on the board.
Good stuff from Nordavind. Getting some really good reads early, which is the main thing. They've been stacking the right sites so far. If that can continue into the gun rounds, then they could be on for an excellent CT side. Just the one Desert Eagle brought by faveN into this round, so Sprout continue to look for damage, which would be nice. It's not like Nordavind have a massive amount of money built up, but at the same time, you've got a single Desert Eagle, and it's already been taken out of the hands of faveN. Denis will try and have a go with it. But right now, it's feeling like that Deg is cursed, because Denis, after picking it up, goes down to 3 health. Harry now pushing down banana. Nordavind looking very confident that they can just take every single fight, and not a single sausage for Sprout from that round.
Yeah, that is not what you want to be giving over to the other side. Like, I get that they didn't have anything to play with, but the fact that it's so clean, there's so much money already for Nordavind, that force buy victory played a massive part, and well, the odds might be firmly in favor of Sprout, but in reality, from the start of this game, it's looking like it's firmly in the favor of Nordavind. We are going to see an investment back, but there's still pieces missing. No Molotovs, which is a prime piece of utility. However, that doesn't matter. Dia's just wrecked the push down mid. I like the idea from Nordavind to basically catch them off guard in the first round, where they invest, basically throw them off completely for the rest of the map, but instead they've lost 2 players and now have to try and fight back with a big disadvantage.
Yeah, I'm generally... Oh, hello. NaToSaphiX sneaking through the smoke. Might have kept his team in with a chance at winning this round. Smoke goes down and, wow, Denis just takes him out instantly. No chance for NATO in that fight. And I'm generally with you in that I like when teams go for these risky rounds in the first gun round, because Nordavind here, they can afford to take a risk to some extent. They've got a good amount of money built up. And if you go for some aggression and just throw your opponents off completely in this first gun round, it can just set up all sorts of mind games and all sorts of difficulties for your opponents as the game goes on. So I like the decision from Nordavind, even if it doesn't work out. It's the kind of round where if you win it, you can be really happy and you can all of a sudden really spiral the half out of control. But if you lose on the risk, it's not the end of the world, right? You can still buy into the next one. You can go into your default setup, and you don't have to be too worried. So I think a good time for Nordavind to take a risk, even if it doesn't work out for them in this first gun round. And Harry's looking for a kill at the end here. He knows they've got money on the CT side, but he won't be able to deny the save. So Sprout, save over 3 guns. Make sure their money starts to be built up. But here comes the first AWP of the game, going into the hands of NaToSaphiX. The rest of the team on the Nordavind side will just be picking up rifles and good utility. And NATO looks like he's got a pretty good spawn for mid, so wouldn't be surprised if he goes for that early fight down mid and tries to look for a pick. Oh, he's not going to, though. He's playing it pretty safe on the A site right now because they're going for some nades, which almost land, but don't do the damage. It's the banana fights we're looking at, though. Denis goes down early, but he gets one from beyond the grave with the Molotov.
Nice. Also barbecued some chicken as well while he's at it.
Oh, sounds lovely.
Oh, that fight really should have gone faveN's way. A risk taken by tenzki, but it pays off. Spiidi, well, he's going to be met with the flames. I think he was looking to try and find a gap through it. Smoke's actually going to go quite deep. I'm not sure how much that's actually going to cover, especially if they jump up on the sandbags. It could give them actually almost a one-way vision over the top. But HS has now been left as the sole defender, thinking that the remainder will rotate away. Nordavind have gambled again. This seems to be a big part of their CT side, is taking these risks, putting players on the opposing side and guessing where the Ts are going to be going. For now, they're just going to play for the retake.
Yeah, flashbang thrown to maybe try and delay Sprout further, but they commit to the bomb plant. Spiidi will be playing over on Banana, but there are 2 smokes for Nordavind, so you have to assume they'll be smoking off Banana with one of those. Ooh, first smoke lands, and this might actually favor Dycha. He can try and use this to his advantage, and they don't clear him. Dycha and Spiidi combining for 2 kills between them. NATO gets one up close, but snatchie remains at the back of the site, and it's a great transfer. It's actually Spiidi who gets that final frag, but Sprout don't really care. They've got all the kills they needed. And that smoke that landed on the site, it seemed like it didn't land in the right spot because Nordavind didn't even check that right side there. They didn't even check pool. And overlooking that position was the biggest problem for them.
Yeah, I'm not sure if that was just a smoke that clipped to the wall and was meant to go for Banana, or if they were actually trying to smoke maybe a little bit deeper and get it so that it at least covered off either the whole of pool or it covers off the coffins. Yeah, that's the only other suggestion. But like you said, all that did was really lose them the round. Like they had much more of an opportunity if they smoked up Banana and cleared the pool rather than trying to smoke off pool and clear Banana. That seems like an odd choice to make. So maybe a bit of a misplay there. Of course, it's always tough to tell exactly what what Nordavind were trying to do there. But for Sprout, after the early start going the way of Nordavind, the finances booming in their favor, they're actually now on an eco.
Now, 1 flashbang bought by HS and a P2 fitty for Hara. So really not a whole deal of anything here. Nordavind trying to stack a site on towards A, but Sprout have already got the Banana control. snatchie looking for fights up mid, but Sprout are continuing to move up through Banana. So if they start to investigate that bomb site, I think they should figure out that it's the stack over on A. Unfortunately for Nordavind, they're not getting much out of this round. At this point, it's just a question of, do you want to play for exit kills? And you probably can spread out and try and cut off these positions, but already snatchie lands that first shot. And I think we all know which way this round is going. It's just a question of whether Nordavind get any kills at the end here.
Yeah, if they could steal a gun here, that would be great. at least reduce the economy a little bit of Sprout, which as of right now is relatively low. Of course, if they keep all 5 players alive, that will be perfect for them. And they should know in this scenario that there's not really a reason to battle versus these remaining players. Just try and keep their weaponry. Of course, Denis, I'm sure, will be wanting to pad his stats a little bit. He does seem to enjoy doing that, but I'm hoping it doesn't come at the cost of a rifle. Free kill onto Harry. Second one as well. Looking to really pad those stats, but the thing is, even if the gun is just retrieved at the very end, it ends up being worth it. Spiidi just going to hide in the corner. He survives on 1 HP, and oh, he even takes the gun away at the end. That is cruel.
Yeah, it definitely felt like a completely unnecessary risk to take pushing CT like that, because you see that Spiidi kind of has to go and try and deny that AK from being saved, and it nearly costs them even further. But thankfully, it's all good on the Sprout side of things. They don't allow that gun to be saved by the CTs, and they make sure their money is still pretty good across the board. Heading into round number 8. NaToSaphiX hasn't been playing too aggressively with the AWP so far. This time he's changing up his position though. He's playing over on Banana, but that smoke has completely obscured his vision. There's no way Nato can risk sticking around there, so he has to fall back to the site. Sprout look like they're going to get Banana control, mainly just off the back of this aggressive smoke at top Banana. Nordavind don't want to fight this anymore, especially with the AWP waiting on the other side. So pretty good start to the round for Sprout, not having to use too many nades to take Banana either.
Already they look to bombard this A site, but with the counter smokes being expended, tenzki will get a little bit more aggressive. He seems to like pushing these smokes, and I don't know if it's going to be expected. What?
Wow.
Okay, that's a bit of a weird pre-fire. I think someone needs to check his mouse after that one. Good thing it wasn't against the Brazilian team. Either way, cromen is going to be finding another pick elsewhere, leaving snatchie and faveN to try and turn the tide as they do go back up Banana.
Yeah, NaToSaphiX has been waiting here the entire time, and his AWP is about to come into play. No smokes, no flashes for Sprout. This should be NATO's chance to land at least one easy shot. There is an AWP up against him, but the Molotov makes life difficult. He's burning, and NATO lands the shot. Doesn't connect on the follow-up frag, but it's not going to make a difference. faveN is dealt with. The AWP is saved by Hara, and Nordavind get themselves back on track, back to a 4-4 scoreline. And we'll get a replay, probably, of that kill through the smoke, I assume, because yeah, it's not an angle I really ever see pre-fired, but fair play.
Always knew tenzki was cheating. Always knew. Here we go. It is still going to be a purchase coming up for Sprout, but there are some pieces missing, notably Spiidi not having a gun, although there is now one on the floor for him to retrieve. Again, tenzki going to be spamming through the smoke, but this time not to the same success. Counter utility is actually going to make things a little bit awkward for Harry. However, he's going to try and use that to go forward. A slight gap forming in the side of the smoke. But there's Denis just to burst out of apartments. Cromen this time won't be able to win that duel, but Harry wins one in return. Taking further control, but with the push going elsewhere, it leaves only a couple of players remaining. NaToS needs to start landing some shots, otherwise he could be in real trouble. And Denis is going to kill him off as well.
Yeah, not the round that Nordavind were looking for. They had a fair few players around that A side of the map, but none of them were really having an impact on the round. Hara tried his best. He's got this AK into his hands off the back of that earlier kill, but it's all about either damage or saving, and I assume saving is the more likely decision here because Nordavind's money is not great across the board. If you save this AK, I think that the money could maybe be good enough to think about going for a force buy. I don't think the losing bonus is great for Nordavind, though. Have to wait and see exactly what it is ahead of this next one. I want to see how much damage Hara takes from the bomb here, because you take some damage, don't you? There you go. 2 points of damage in this position on Banana. Something to keep in mind if you're ever low on health. But yeah, the money on Nordavind is, it's close to being good enough. With Hara saving that gun, I think you can just about justify the buy. And Nordavind seem to agree with me. They should be getting rifles on the majority of their players. Nades across the board. It's just NaToSaphiX who's having to take an MP9 which is a far cry from the AWP that he would want in this round. But unfortunately, that's the position that he's got to work himself through into this one. Sprout with a 5-4 lead, looking pretty good on their T side right now, showing that they are going to be competitive here on Nordavind's map pick.
Already. We are going to see this challenge onto Banana. Again, financially, not too much of a problem, but here we go. Can Nato do anything this time? He doesn't have his AWP.
How'd that do no damage? I thought that nade was pretty close to some of those players. Apparently not. That dink is certainly close to getting the kill, though. Denis is down to 15 points of health. Sprout have got the top mid control that was the initial aim in this round for them, but once again, Nordavind have been pretty effective at rotating and stacking these sites, and in this one, they've again left Harriet alone on Banana. They're putting a lot of pressure on him, but they're making sure that they have 4 players over on A, which looks like the right read right now. Good kill from tenzki. However, he is traded out by Dycha. Here comes cromen, spray from the backside. He gets all 3 kills, set up for success as cromen completely obliterates the push, and faveN is nowhere near the action. With 22 seconds left, he's got to start running if he wants to win the round, because the bomb is dropped over at A long. There are 2 players there lined up. There could still be a world in which faveN wins this as he looks to get the bomb back, but there's only 10 seconds. He's got to go. He's got to get kills now. There's the first man, but there's just no time. He turns around and looks for the AWP, which won't land the shot, but it might get away safely. faveN is running for the hills right now, and he will be safe in saving this AWP at the very least, but it's Nordavind who again continue to start to just put up rounds. They're up to 5 on the board now, and it's been looking a bit better for them into this later stages of the first half.
Yeah, cromen has had some really high impact rounds. It's been him facing off against Denis around that apartment/mid area, and well, because of that, it's basically been whoever gets that kill seems to win the round. Like, if you look at the scoreboard at the moment, cromen's at the top for his team, Denis is at the top for his team, so that battle has been crucial. We will see a buy back in. I imagine D has probably been dropped a Galil or something in response, but actually no, I think he dropped an AK. That might be a little bit of a surprise, or faveN, sorry, has been dropped an AK. I would have rather just seen a Galil dropped and then allow snatchie to have some armor instead.
Big thanks to Hellcase for making this tournament possible. You can use the code SLTV15 for a 15% refill bonus over on Hellcase. As we get back into the action, like you were saying, Nordavind not having a great position for themselves, but the same can be said for Sprout. So this feels like a really important swing round in this game. Whoever wins this should be good to win the half, realistically. With how the money will end up panning out, they'll put themselves in a really good position to get the edge from this first half. And I think Nordavind will really be hoping for that here on this CT side. Once again, Nordavind are really happy to rotate 4 players over to A. They've gone for it in this round, and it might pan out for them. cromen and HS both getting some early kills in this one. Oh, the MP9 not good in that sort of a battle. At medium range, he ends up losing out, but NaToSaphiX is much closer with his SMG. He gets a dink, but not the kill onto the second man. And it's all on tenzki. Even though Nordavind keep on stacking this A site, they can't seem to hold it, but tenzki still has a chance in the clutch. Sneaking on through, he's about to spot this man. Easy kill onto the first, but now he's got to get the read. He has no clue where snatchie is, but he might have a decent idea here that snatchie's in pit. He's having a little look, and oh, snatchie peeks at just the right time to win the round.
That's really risky. I'll be honest, with snatchie having the bomb ticking in his favor, I don't really like that peek, but the fact that he just nails the headshot, it's perfect. And well, something I've been mentioning is the sort of that financial battle, the back and forth. From the split second we saw of the purchase there, I think Nordavind have actually taken the risk and gone for the buy here. So it was so close that you can kind of understand why.
Ooh.
But this is not a good purchase for them whatsoever. And it means that, well, basically if this is won by Sprout, they're going to be in real trouble.
It's just a weird round in general, with Sprout having 3 MAC 10s off the back of the round win. strange for both teams, as they both fully invest, but both don't have the best buy to show for it. Spiidi, though, with the MAC-10 opening up the round. snatchie with one of his own. Hara coming back with the MP9. He doesn't get the second kill. It's the Glock of Spiidi that somehow chimes on in. And I think finally Sprout will have stamped their authority on this game. This is where Nordavind have no other option but to save.
Yeah, this is rough. Like, they had that force buy battle back and forth with eventually Sprout coming out on top, and unfortunately that means that Nordavind being on the CT side are now going to be in a financially awkward position, which that's not good. Like, the main thing with the CT side is to try and get a big bulk of rounds, and we've got to hope, if anything, that they do have a good T side behind them. Otherwise, they will be heading into the lower bracket. Of course, the first map did go the way of Sprout for anybody who missed it. But then again, there is a cute little star on the screen that gives you all the information you need. Denis, I thought he was going to run through his own Molotov for a second, but I wouldn't have been overly surprised. This is his chance to pad those stats, to make some cash, or maybe go down. It's gone okay in the end. A couple of kills. He's paid for the MAC-10 at least. And more importantly, he's made a big distraction as the push goes elsewhere.
faveN hears these steps rotating as well, so they can fight at CT, or they can just smoke it off, which is the option they decide to take. Dycha got a kill through the smoke with the MAC-10, and, well, HS, I guess, could try and save the MAC-10. The Kevlar's there for him. Oh, no, he doesn't have Kevlar, does he? No. For some reason, I saw that shield, and I thought he had Kevlar, but there's no number next to it. So he doesn't have armor. I mean, are you going to use the MAC-10 in the next round? Maybe. We'll see how it pans out for them. But yeah, the problem here for Nordavind is that looking at the stats on Inferno for them, normally they do win more of their rounds on the CT side. It's pretty close between the two halves for them, but the fact they've already lost this CT half is not a great look. And we'll wait and see what the buy is like for them into this next one.
Oh, hello, chicken.
Oh,
of course, for anybody wondering why there's a dynamic prize pool in the middle of your screen, there are cases on the Hellcase website that you can open which are related to this event.
It's the Hellcup 8 Pro case, I believe,
yeah,
Tom.
There you go. You get, and basically some of the money from that case will go into the prize pool for the teams as well. So you talk about how, like, during the majors, for example, or when you do buy sticker capsules, the teams will get some money from it. But here you can almost see the effects in place, which is actually, it's quite a nice touch. I like it as an idea. They've done it for the last few, and I've always enjoyed watching that prize pool slowly rise. And obviously you still get to keep whatever skin you get in the case as well. So yeah, if you do want to support these sides, at least if you think they're going to win, I guess. Because that's the thing. Although the prize pool does increase along the way, if you don't win, then you're not getting anywhere near as much cash anyway.
No, very true.
Winner takes it all. It's not who's the fan favorite.
Exactly.
Which is the case with a lot of the sticker captures.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good point. I was casting some of this online with Dinko back in the group stages, and I remember I was waiting for the prize pool to reach 20,000. I was hoping it would exactly get up to 20,000 and it went straight to 20,001, and I was so sad.
Been wrecked. I guess it depends on the price of the case.
And how many people are opening it at the same time.
That is
There's
true.
Lots of different considerations, which is kind of a good way to sum up Counter-Strike. There's lots of things you have to consider. And, okay, NaToSaphiX not ready for that. He was alone on Banana. That is a big problem.
They know. Like, that's the thing. Firstly, you have to remember that these players, a lot of them are played together. NaToSaphiX was, of course, in Sprout. But the other thing as well is when you have a player that aggressively on Banana with an AWP, you can make a very good educated guess that there's only going to be one player there. You're not really going to have a second once he's already set up. Like in the initial stages, maybe you'll have someone to flash him into that spot. But the second he is in that spot, if you are keeping other players behind, it's somewhat pointless. And D has actually spotted a lot of them in from behind. Now, there will be a slight upgrade here. And of course, going into the last round of the half, Nordavind are going to be investing. Now, with how much money there is on the Sprout side, once the bomb is ticked far enough, they should start hunting these weapons down, try and get rid of some of them. Because in reality, it's so much more valuable to get rid of the gun. Obviously, snatchie, maybe not. Like, don't want to give away that AWP unless he wants to just throw it out of the map and then buy another one in the next round, which he could do. But it actually seems like they're not that fussed about removing the weaponry, which, I'll be honest, I'm a little bit disappointed.
Yeah, they don't really need to save for this last round, but I guess on the Sprout side of things, they're just happy to let Nordavind keep those guns, happy to give them a fighting chance into what is the last round of the half. AWP out for snatchie. Hasn't been as effective on the T side, but it hasn't really needed to be. It's been a team effort for Sprout across the board. You can see Dycha there, 8 kills, is technically the bottom fragger, but he's not far behind Denis at the top, who has 12 frags to his name. Over on the Nordavind side of things, no AWP for them, but at least they have a good amount of rifles, thanks to the save at the end there. And, oh, cromen was hoping to nade down mid, but he wasn't ready for snatchie to already be in position. AWP shot opens up the round for Sprout and gives them an even greater chance of getting a 10th round on the board. That's been changed, though. NaToSaphiX brings a kill back for his team, and OHS almost caught in the open. He goes back for it, and Denis was waiting for that fight. It is Nordavind now in a 2 versus 3, and the fights are just happening all over the place, all over the map, but it's Sprout who are winning the majority of them.
Yeah, a rough position for Harry to be in, and
Down.
at least find one. He has gone down. Now Denis is tagged. faveN's tagged a little bit as well. This isn't beyond the realms of possibility. He could realistically take this one home. The crossfire's not a bad one. I always like seeing his position used, and while Denis actually just peeks into the angle and will get their 10th. Again, a very solid T-side from Sprout, and more so on a map. Oh, actually, it was their CT side in the last map that was good, right? Or was it their T side? I think it was the CT side. I'm going to go with CT side because I can't remember. Yeah, snatchie was banging them out. It was.
Yeah.
But this time we've seen a solid T side from them, especially after losing that second round force and having 3 rounds in the initial stages for Nordavind. For them to only get 2 rounds since then is very impressive stuff from Sprout. So now going into their CT side, if they can get off to a strong start, this could be pretty much the end of Nordavind, at least for the upper bracket.
Yeah, that's looking like a very real possibility, a very real concern if you are a Nordavind fan right now. Definitely seen some good stuff from cromen throughout that first half. I think without him, they might not have even got their 5 rounds on the board that they have. And Sprout continue to be heavily favored over on Unicorn. Remember that fans who place a daily star ladder bet with Unicorn will get a free $10 bonus. Make sure to check that out. Big shout out to Unicorn for being the sponsors. And here we go into the second half where Sprout, if they win this pistol round, put themselves in such a good spot. And Nordavind themselves go for 3 sets of nades on their T-side pistol. This time, though, with the Molotovs instead of the flashes. But I still want to see what they're going to do here. I guess a B execute with those 2 mollies can be a bit more understandable, rather than just having those 6 flashbangs that Sprout went for in the first half.
Yeah, I'm still interested by the 3 smokes, like where they're actually going to utilize them. Is one of them just going to be a re-smoke? Because I get the whole, like, one going to go into the back of the site and the coffins, the other going to be for the cross, but where's the third one going? That's what interests me. Doesn't seem to matter, though. They're going to go barreling in already, finding a kill. snatchie will get there eventually, and the second one's much cleaner. Denis, however, tries to run through the smoke and may have just wanted to wait for his teammates to be ready, because D is coming in from behind, connecting the shots eventually and doing a lot of damage onto one more player. That will be Harry, looking for a little bit more and may even finish it off. What a pistol round from Dycha and snatchie. It's the poles that give Sprout their 11th round, and if anything, that probably should have gone the way of Nordavind, especially with the fact that they not only got the opening kill, but faveN, who was on the site with him, was also dinked.
Yeah, it's the poles that put Sprout in pole position to win this game. Great pistol round from Dycha, spamming to the body, surprisingly enough. But when so many players have bought nades, you can be a bit more confident in doing that. And that was cromen there dying in the first place, who was the man who had that other smoke for Nordavind in the first place. So the fact that cromen doesn't even get to use his smoke there to try and maybe smoke off Banana, and he just dies in the open, is a real shame for Nordavind, because if he'd have put that smoke down, that could have maybe made all the difference. But he was out in the open, he wasn't ready for the fight, and now Nordavind have put a lot of pressure on themselves to win this force fight. If they lose this, they fall very far behind. But at least Sprout only have the 1 rifle on their side of things, so that gives Nordavind a chance here. Again, these buys aren't too dissimilar across the board.
Yeah, it's a weird one, actually, because normally you talk about how, because of this, Sprout will have a lot of extra utility, but the snatchie actually saves a bit of cash, which I don't like, and so does faveN. So, I don't know, we could have seen an extra smoke, HE, and flash, but instead they've decided to save their money, so not sure how much I like that. Doesn't matter though, D is still going to win the opening duel. He's going to upgrade, or try and upgrade his pistol, not realizing that they have fully invested, and it's in fact the UMP that is currently on the floor. Even still, though, a solid start. And snatchie alongside Dycha looking to get a little bit more aggressive. NaTo's there. Cromen looking to round the corner. And I wonder if they will have heard the player around those backlines. Spiidi still in the same spot, but they're waiting patiently. Cromen about to round the corner. And the timing will be everything here. A missed shot as he tries to fall away. He was the one with the bomb. So that could have been awful if it had gone wrong. Instead, he's actually looking to regain some control around this arch side. He'll hear the footsteps of Spiidi, who doesn't actually spot anything, but I think he's heard the movement. Denis, perfectly timed with his pick, and now Cromen's going to go running back again because of this hunt coming in. But it all comes down to this kill from HS, and he's clinical. Picks up another SMG, and now Denis, with that AK, is going to be left to clutch.
Yeah, don't do anything stupid here. Get that bomb down safely, which they will. Cromen punching in the digits, and Denis spots that first man. Cromen now trapped on the bomb site. That nade doesn't do as much damage as I thought it may have as Denis continues to move into the bomb site. Cromen could be spotted, but the off angle is too much for Denis to deal with. Cromen too hot to handle at the end there. Make sure that Nordavind keep themselves going, keep themselves alive in this game. That was a much-needed round for them, and a good decision at the end there. Some teams, I think, with such little time left on the clock, might not make that decision quickly enough. But Nordavind realized instantly, we can go back to A. We've got time, even though there's only about 20 seconds left to work with. And just a really good read under pressure there, under scary circumstances with such little time left. But Nordavind make the right call. And now Sprout have got a force buy of their own, and faveN's even got the dualies.
Okay. That's a gun I like to see, but not one that I normally see. Of course, this now means that Sprout have won and not converted both pistol rounds. So definitely something they might need to look to change. Obviously, it can be quite tough in the current state. Dycha, again, is going to be in an aggressive position with that SMG. Actually manages to fall back to the pit, and things have been made a little bit awkward. It's a hunt coming in, and NaTo's going to get the kill. snatchie has found another one, but Denis, well, never mind. He's going to combine with snatchie again. He wants to get a kill, but instead, it's this scout taking away every single member of this side, and faveN will come up trumps as well. What a round from snatchie. He's definitely not been quite as integral so far as he was in the last map. But now, if he steps up as well, I think this is over.
Yeah, those A-sided players for Sprout just delay for so long. They stay alive for so long. That man who moved back to the mini pit must have stayed alive for 5 seconds at least, maybe even more. And that's what bought time for the rotate. You see on the minimap, look at how many Sprout players are already towards the A site by the time that Nordavind are starting to push up through short. That was the big issue there. And snatchie, run boosted into mid, almost lands a shot with the scout. Unable to do so this time round, but over on the Nordavind side, they've gone for the full investment, and the one AK they have has already been put to use. NaToSaphiX winning the initial fight on Banana. That means that Spiidi has to play safe and has to call for a rotate.
Yeah, more importantly, it's picked them up an extra rifle as well, so now Cromen's going to be able to man an AK-47, which brings them much closer in this round. They're actually fighting this as a full unit, just moving all together, allowing NATO to pretty much control the whole squad, make those calls to the team. Actually, the rotation here is completely wrong. snatchie going in the wrong direction. Dycha's going to be the one left alone. I think he's made the realization that players will be coming. Cromen with an instant headshot to get rid of the one man who could have supported. Now Dycha has to do something unbelievable. He's getting pushed from all angles. Harry is going to just decimate him. And this streak back and forth of rounds is going to continue, Alex. I'm not sure where it's going to stop.
No, neither am I with how this game has been going. And with the fact that Sprout are probably going to be able to save these 2 guns over. That will give them much more playability into the next one. Now, got to give props to NaToSaphiX, just winning that initial fight on Banana, getting Cromen the AK to begin with. Then Cromen gets one of his own with his rifle that he just recovered. and it just all goes tumbling out of control for Sprout from there. NaToSaphiX just moving back to the pit to be 100% safe with his AK, and Nordavind will be allowed to save those 3 guns that they recovered, as well as the armor on the other players. Again, Cromen's been playing solid, as has Hara, who's someone that I'd seen in parts, but I hadn't seen anywhere near as often. Unicorn are really liking Sprout right now.
Does it go above 10? That's the question. Because that's one of the things I always wonder about odds. Like, do they have a cutoff point, or can it just get to the point where it says like 4,000?
I'm pretty sure yesterday we had 17 for Hard Legion, maybe. I don't remember exactly.
Oh, then they won. So you know.
Maybe it wasn't Hard Legion then, because that would be pretty crazy. They did come back, didn't they?
Yeah, they came back from a massive deficit, 12-3 half.
I might be right there.
So. Got to be careful. These pistols have been so successful, and they will be again. And I don't know how this is going to keep going in this direction, Hawker. It makes absolutely no sense. The team with the stronger buyer just can't manage to get things over the line, and Cromen's about to run straight back into Denis. They've set the economy packing once again. They've got enough for 2 AKs, so they're probably going to force. And at this point, wow, if it keeps going in this exact pattern, Sprout will win.
Yeah, maybe Sprout are better off just throwing away their guns at this point. Honestly, man, it's pretty ridiculous how this has been happening. So back and forth in this second half, but as you were saying, Sprout already had the lead, so they're okay with it going a bit back and forth. They're the ones that can be a bit more comfortable, whereas Nordavind now, if they lose this one, they are in a whole lot of trouble, especially after losing that first map. 13-7 down on this second one. Not many signs of life, not many signs of light for Nordavind right now.
What do you mean? This is their force buy round.
I know.
These are the ones they win.
We're putting a stop to this right now, Tom. Right now.
They would definitely win this.
Definitely.
Definitely not trying to count it. No, I'm kidding. No, Sprout have got this one in the bag. As long as I jinx both teams, now we'll see who has the stronger jinx.
Now you've just made it that both fans will hate you.
Basically, whichever team SaphiX is supporting is going to lose. And he likes both of these teams because not only is he the person who has an account dedicated to NaToSaphiX, he's also the social media manager of Sprout. So he's screwed in this sense. So whoever he truly deep down wants to win is going to lose.
Again, Tom, you go with the glass half empty side of it. Instead of saying that he wins either way, you say he loses either way.
Yeah, he loses either way.
We're learning a lot about you here, Tom.
Yeah.
I've still got that youthful optimism, naivety, I guess you could say.
Yeah, I have the heart of an old man, and I am getting there myself. Only 25, although I look 45. Here we go.
Ooh.
I'm going to have the push coming in. faveN boosted up. The flashbang solid. No one checks. Absolutely no one checks. That's a huge mistake. HS is still going to counter it with a kill, but there's been a switch back either way. Only 10 seconds on the clock. They have to go and retrieve the bomb. Plant coming through, and that is perfect from Dycha. That's a man who knows his spray control. There's nothing that can be done here for NATO except maybe picking up that AK. And in fact, he's actually going to die, and that was after time. This has just gone pretty much to them getting wrecked.
I think NATO will be looking at his teammates in this round. I mean, he doesn't even have the ability to buy armor, so maybe he won't get a drop, in all honesty. But this is the worry for Nordavind. As soon as this happens, we were saying they might be in trouble. NaToSaphiX invests his money into a Tech 9, while the rest of his team buy pistols and a few nades. Sprout going for some aggression down mid, which isn't really necessary against the pistols. They're also pushing Banana, though, and the MP9 of faveN is able to get an early kill. tenzki with one in reply, and here comes Denis. Again, this is a fight he just doesn't need to take, but he goes for it. Now an AK can be recovered by Nordavind, and now they've got a real shot at this. Dycha, though, lining them up. 2 quick kills, makes it a third, and he has saved his team. Unless tenzki has something to say about it, which he might, because this game has been absolutely absurd.
That was ridiculous. I really like watching Dycha play. Question is, has he done enough? The Dane already with 2 kills in this round. Bit of a quieter performance to what we saw on Dust 2, but If he can get that same sort of form back, there is an opportunity. Spots out Spiidi in a wide angle, and now it's left into the 1v1. faveN will be rotating him from behind. There's rifles on the floor, so it's not just going to be that SMG that he'll have to fight with. The only question is, does he want to make any sound? He doesn't. So he's actually going to take the risk of going with just the SMG. Bomb is going to be planted, and now he just has to try and find out where tenzki is, and tenzki doesn't expect him to come from banana. They're scraping through these rounds, considering what's actually been there for Nordavind, but at the same time, they still have the money. The T side, on the other hand, are in a bit of a financially awkward position, and, well, faveN's even got a little bit of BM up his sleeve.
Yeah, having a little bit of fun. Those 2 kills from Dycha were so quick. NaToSaphiX getting shot through the wall because he was so low on health. But it is Sprout who have themselves 8 map points, 8 series points here up against Nordavind. And just in general, Sprout's individuals have definitely stepped up more, which is something that we were expecting heading into this series. We were saying that if the Sprout players show up, they probably have more depth and skill. That has certainly been the case. snatchie has been solid with the AWP, but he's not been top fragging here on Inferno. He's not needed to be. Dycha's been involved. Denis having a pretty good game. It's just been most of the Sprout players stepping up in this one, but it's time for Nordavind to step up if they want to stay in this series as they move into top mid. Oh, hello.
Oh, dear.
Goodbye.
Okay, Nato actually does manage to get the trade, but snatchie so quick. I do like this duo of Dycha and snatchie. I think great addition to the squad. Can snatchie get anything more? It's actually going to be the flank coming in from Spiidi, and now tenzki once again is left alone. He almost managed the 1v2. Now he has to try and go for 3. A tough position to be in, especially with the bomb down in middle. Rotation already coming in. faveN doesn't actually need to peek this, but it looks like he's got the right idea, and he's just going to wipe his head clean off. A very good performance, a great day for the side of Sprout, who have dominated in both maps. Definitely seeing the individual skill stepping up, and unfortunately for Nordavind, it seemed like some of their players were a little bit sleepy today.
Yeah, it was just across the board there for Sprout on that map. I think faveN at the bottom ended 12 for 12, so he had a fine game, and then everyone else just goes up and up from there. Dycha at the top.
Is that the delayed score?
That is the delayed score.
So I think he got a couple of kills towards the end.
He probably did.
But yeah, I think also just the fact that we see a lot of these forced fire wars happening. It happened on both halves, and both times Sprout came out on top, and that wrecked the economy of Nordavind. It might be worth saying that if they want to be a little bit more consistent as a strong Inferno team, it is worth every once in a while just giving up that force fire and trying to make sure you have the rifles. I can understand why they went for it in this case, but it's very difficult when these like back and forth rounds happen to consistently win games off of that, because as we saw, because of how the nature of the map was consistently changing, it meant that Sprout financially just wrecked them every single time.
Yeah, it was a strange game in that sense, I guess, where, especially if you're Nordavind and you pick this map, you want to have way more gun rounds than that, especially on your second half, because you never really get to run your full plays or your full defaults to begin with. And that could have changed if they won this pistol round, which is a round that Nordavind probably should have been able to win, but Dycha stepped up.
They won both force fires pistols, though, so yeah, I can't even give them that excuse, like, oh, if they won a pistol. No, you won the follow-up. If anything, you set them back even worse than they would have been, and still only managed, what, 7 rounds? That's just not good enough, especially on your own map choice. And then there was just, you could see that Sprout were just enjoying themselves towards the end. Like aggressive mid pushes, taking fights that they never really should be fighting, big risks as well. And, well, if you look at the top players in the map, there's only one up there from the side of Nordavind, and he was the one who basically at the beginning of the game had some pretty good rounds. I said it was the battle between him and Denis, and it ended up going in Denis's favor.
Yeah, cromen on that short position was pretty good for the most part on the CT side. It's just once they got into the T side, they didn't really get many opportunities to show that same ability, unfortunately. Dycha, though, up there at the top. Good to see him doing well. Like you said, snatchie was pretty solid with the AWP also. I think those two generally do have a pretty good understanding of each other. And you see there, Dycha outdoing cromen, generally across the board, as you'd expect. Again, though, it wasn't really a map where you'd say any one individual was the reason these teams, had their performance level. It was more just Dycha having a solid time of things.
Yeah, I believe, by the way, for anybody wondering, that this will be played to schedule. So there will be a bit of an extended break before we come back for our second match today. So if you do have a little bit of time, maybe there's some other Counter-Strike on, maybe you can go and do what we're going to do, which is have some lunch. Either way, we'll be back after that extended break to bring you the second best of 3 of today.